Alright guys, so here's the review of the AMWG Red Moon. So AMWG is a group on Facebook, stands for Asian Mechanical Watch Group, and they make some interesting pieces. They, as far as I can tell, they collab with a few people. They've got a couple of collabs at the moment. I think they're sponsored by Mecha-Quartz. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And then they do pieces kind of inspired by some of theirs, with a bit of an amalgamation of other bits and pieces and some original designs. So some interesting stuff. I'll leave links down in the description as always to them. But full disclosure, they've sent me a few watches in that I'm going to be reviewing. This is one of them, the one I'm doing today. But they've also sent a couple of others. So I get to keep a couple of these, or one of them, I can't remember the exact number now. I get to keep some anyway. But then also, Jason the Watch Guy, if you haven't seen him, check out his channel. Again, link will be down in the description. This is a bit of a collab between me and him. So he gets to keep some as well. So, make of that what you will. But now that's out of the way. Getting back to it. Let's see what I thought of the watch. Because that's what you're really here for. So, here we go. So, here it is. So, it's a chronograph. But let's address the elephant in the room straight away here, and that's those hands. So in fact I'll quickly zoom in. So we've got white hands on a almost white dial. It's like a slightly off white, so not the most legible. This is one of the couple of things I would have changed with this watch, to be honest. I would have liked it if they'd had like a black surround, or possibly black hands, or maybe even like a red surround to go with the rest of the design. But the way they are at the moment, they're not the most legible. Depending on the lighting, you can see them alright. But when the lighting goes and it gets a little bit darker, they're pretty much impossible to see. Which is a bit of a shame, really. So the reason we've got these red and white colours while we're talking about it, quickly show you right at the bottom here, it actually says Hong Kong either side of the 6. So that's because this is designed in Hong Kong, and apparently the colours are based on the flag. So I do quite like that they've done that, but like I say, I would have preferred if they'd done something different with the hands, just to make them a little bit more distinguishable from the dial. But now that's out of the way, let's go on with the rest of it. So there's no second hand on this, that's because this is a Mecha-Quartz. So I'll quickly zoom back out actually, I'll show you that in action. So unscrew that crown, pop it out once, change the date at the bottom there, pop it out again, obviously you can change the time, just move them out of the way. Screw that back down again, and I'll show you now the chrono. So pushing the top one, you could probably just about see, like I say, with it being white, not the most legible, but you can see that chrono hand moving now. Push it again, stop it, push the bottom one, resets. So you got 24-hour subdial here, you've got a hour timer subdial on the left, and then in fact press that again just so we can move it out of the way and show you that text at the top. So quickly zoom back in again. So you've got that AMWG at the top, that stands for Asian Mechanical Watch Group, as I said in the intro. So that's actually a Facebook group which I'll leave links to in the description. And then we've got the limited edition at the bottom, just above the date window at the 6, which I do like. Do like the symmetry of having it at the 6, it's always good to see. And you could probably also see as well, we've got concentric circles on those nice red subdials. Just adds a little bit of interest to an otherwise rather plain dial. And then we've got applied red markers. We've got a nice dome crystal on this, like a box dome. So I've got a signed crown, but it is actually signed with a different logo. So this is a Husson logo, because that's one of the other brands that these actually do, the AMWG, the Asian Mechanical Watch Group. So they have that brand. Then they also work with, if you recognise this logo, the Mecha-Quartz one. That's because this bracelet is actually supplied by them. That's because they're sponsored by them. So it's a little bit of an amalgamation, this watch. So we've got brushed sides to the case, polished chamfered edge, transitioning nicely, nicely finished, no sharp edges there, which is good. And then with this bracelet. So this is a little bit of an odd one, I think. I've been told, because you might think that looks a bit loose, it doesn't quite fit properly, but I have been told that that's a design choice. They've done that to help with comfort apparently, and they say that when you're wearing it, that isn't going to be rattling around like that. It's going to sit flush and you're not going to notice, but I'll show you that when we get to the wrist shot near the end. As for the rest of the bracelet, it's quite nicely done. So we've got mainly brushed with these tiny little centre bits polished. Nice bit of articulation, really comfortable, which is good. Got double pushers, milled clasp, quite a bit of micro adjust as well, so you shouldn't have a problem getting that resized. And just got a sterile case back, screw down, solid end links as well. So now let's test whether we got sapphire crystal on this. Using the trusty Diamond Selector 2. And no, we just got mineral crystal on that, which a little bit disappointing, but they do say that on the listing, so can't complain too much. Now let's get on to the dimensions then. Start with the thickness, about 13.2, 13.3, but again quite a bit of that is that dome crystal. Then we've got a diameter of about 41mm, lug width of 20, and a lug to lug of 47, well, just over 47, 47.3, 47.4, something like that. So quite nice dimensions. And then with that case we've got a slight bit of curve to it, so should wear quite nicely, but again I'll show you that in a minute. Before we get to that though, let's quickly just check out the lume on this. There's not a lot, but let's see what we're dealing with. And you can see we've got a little bit showing up there already, but let's charge it up as always, give it a proper chance. And there we go. So, funnily enough, at night this is actually a little bit more easy to read than it is during the day with those hands, but all joking aside, the lume on this, it's okay. It's not great, but given the kind of watch it is, you're not really expecting too much. Anything is a bonus really, because the amount of surface area they're playing with, you can't get a lot of lume in there. So like I say, nice little bonus that they've got some, but not the best. So all that's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist. And this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. So the thing you're probably thinking is, what is this bit like? So this side of it, you can't actually see, does sit nicely, as they said it would. Bracelet is really comfortable, as I said earlier. Does look good, but I've got a slight issue. You can see here, with this side, it's a little bit loose, does actually move about a bit, and you can see that gap unfortunately. So I think that might be a bit of a QC issue with this particular version, as like I say, the other side is perfectly fine. That sits fine, no issue at all. If I do that though, you can hear that rattling ever so slightly. So, a little disappointing. I would have liked to see that fitting a bit better, to be honest. But other than that, quite a good looking watch, I think. Again, that main issue though is those hands. Not the most legible, with them more or less matching the dial colour. Would have preferred to have seen it, like I said earlier, black outline on them, possibly a red outline, just something to differentiate them from that white dial. But other than that, not a bad looking watch. Like I say, really comfortable. Do like the red and white. Just needs a little bit more for the hands. But otherwise, nice watch. Possibly would have liked to see sapphire at this price. But it looks good with that dome crystal, the mineral crystal. You just need to be careful if you're going to pick one up though, because obviously it will scratch a bit easier. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.